Francesca, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Charlotte.
And Francesca, I wanted to ask you the story of how you came to know Jesus personally. And so to start off with, was that as a child or was it later?
No, it was, I would say later, probably in my mid-30s.
Okay. And so what happened at that stage in your mid-30s?
So there were two things, really, two occasions, I think, that brought me to faith. The first one being that I met two Christian women through a nursery, through my child's nursery. And I was really struck by their assurance and their joy and the way they spoke about Jesus, the way they spoke about praying so naturally. And also, yes, it was this assurance that they had. And so I was very intrigued by them. And also one of them actually turned out to be a cousin. And we discovered that I didn't even know I had, from Nigeria many, many years ago. And here she was in Barnet, of all places on the planet that we could meet. And I just really it struck me, and it made me think that actually this wasn't a random encounter as random as I thought, but actually there was something very big about this, much bigger than just coincidence.
And you said that was the first thing. What was the second thing?
So the second thing was that I received a leaflet about the Nativity at Christmas from Lionsdown. And I decided, being at a very difficult point in my life, in my personal life, that I would just go along, take the children up. And it turned out to be something that I really wasn't expecting, because I was expecting to hear a little story about a baby and some cows and things in a manger and some nice looking kings with some gifts. And actually, that's not really what there was that, but that's not really what I heard. What I heard was a story about salvation and the purpose of Jesus coming, which I had not actually really heard that explained before, and how relevant it was to me. So that was something that I went away again feeling quite struck by and curious about, and I decided I would come back up on the Sunday and come to the service and see more. And I heard the sermons, and again I was just really, really surprised at what I was hearing, because I was actually opening the Bible in church and we were actually reading the Bible. It was being explained to me. Sin was being explained to me as to what it was, and that it wasn't just a list of do's, don'ts, wrongs and rights. It was about living my life apart from God. And then the salvation, hearing about salvation and forgiveness through Jesus, and the idea that that was for everybody who would come to him, and that included me, that I could also be saved, and realizing that I needed to be saved and that I could be saved through Jesus. It was a huge revelation to be able to open up the Bible and to be taught and to be helped to understand what it was with the evidence.
Okay, so it was at that stage then that you became a Christian, you came to know Jesus personally. How have things been different since then?
Well, I would say that what it did for me was to lift a huge weight off my shoulders. It felt that I was liberated in a way. I know some people might think, oh, it's not a liberation, but to me, it felt like a liberation. It made me want to hear more about Jesus. I don't think it changed my life in the day-to-day, because in terms of what happens there, it was still a difficult life. I still had all the same issues and situations that everyone goes through as a single parent. I'm on my own, trying to juggle that and work. But the huge difference was that I had that assurance that God was on my side. He had my back, and that I could go to him in prayer with any issues. And I just felt part of God's family, especially through the church, that I knew that I had a whole family of like-minded Christians going through the same things, that it offers support and encouragement, and just knowing that there's this huge family that love Jesus the same as I do. It's been a huge encouragement, support, and teaching as well. It sort of, it has helped to guide me. It's been guidance. So in that way, it has changed my life a lot.
Well, Francesca, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. And I'm going to hand back now to Mark.